Hey everybody, Kirk Junge here from LearningGolf.tv. Today in the next few minutes I'm going to show you exactly why the conventional golf swing is impossible for 99% of the golfers to ever become consistent at, why people are struggling to improve regardless of how many lessons they take, and there's a very simple solution that I'm also going to share with you in just a couple of minutes. So looking at the video here of Justin Thomas, you can see on the left, this is his setup position, and you see I have 29 degrees written to the right of his hands, and that's the difference between his right arm from the elbow down to his hand, and then from his right hand down to the club head. That's the angle between the club shaft and the right arm at setup. On the right, you can see at impact that I've drawn a perfectly straight line through the shaft up through the elbow of the club. So the club has become in alignment with that right arm. So taking a look here, what I've done, this represents the right forearm. So this is the length of my right forearm to the middle of my hand. And when I put that to where the right hand joins the club, this would be the middle of the right hand. And when I put this here connected to it and I look at the protractor here, and I make it an angle of 29 degrees. That's exactly right there. So all we need to do at this point is measure to where the right hand would go on the golf club, which is a total of 33 inches. This is 13 inches, which I measured before. I wrote it on here. And then if you look, this would indicate the setup position. As I showed you, Justin Thomas had a 29 degree angle between his right forearm to the elbow and to the grip, so that's the angle. Now if we measure though at setup the distance from the middle of the club face to where the right elbow would be, you can see it's in this case 43.5 inches. So it's 43.5 inches at setup, and at impact we saw that it becomes a straight line. So what we're going to do, we are going to slide the grip in here to the middle. Now this would represent impact, and this would represent again the right elbow. So the distance from the right elbow to the club head at impact is 45.5, actually 45.75 inches. We'll call it 45.5. And what you see then in this case, that's a difference of 2 inches. So the distance from the club head, or the middle of the leading edge of the club face, to the elbow at impact has changed by 2 inches from setup to impact. So you can do this at home. You don't have to get a tube like this. You could just take a ruler and measure your arm, put it down at the angle you set up at. I printed this protractor out from the internet. I put it at 29 degrees here, and then simply measure from the bottom to here. Again, 43.5 inches when it's straight, 45.5 inches. So that's just the difference between setup and impact. If you set up like I do, this would represent my setup position and my impact position. It would be exactly the same. So it would be obviously 45.5 inches from elbow to club head, both setup and impact. So you can see in the video that the setup that Justin had was here, and at impact he's here, and I showed you that that adds 2 inches basically to the length of the club from the elbow that you need to account for. So most people are doing it this way. They're pulling away coming into impact. That's one of the reasons people hit a lot of fat and thin shots or top shot, is simply they're not good at compensating for the 2 inches. In this case, because I used a 6 iron, it's 2 inches, but if it was an 8 iron, it might be 1.5 inches. If it's a 4 or 5 iron, it's 2.5 inches. If it's a 3 wood, it might be 3.5 inches, and a driver 4 to 5 inches. The problem is you need to learn to compensate for every one of these. You can see in my swing here that setup and impact, the orientation of the right arm to club stays the same from setup to impact, and you can see that the length doesn't change. So the length from my elbow to the club head is exactly the same through setup and impact. And it's also, if you look at Bryson DeChambeau, you see that he's also does exactly the same thing. So he has the same orientation. The club doesn't get longer from elbow to club head. He figured this out and has won now 7 times professionally, 5 on the PGA Tour, 1 in Europe, and 1 on the Web.com Tour. So this is a swing. This will work for anybody. You need to just learn to set up in an ideal position, and that's what Set Up for Impact Golf will teach you how to do step by step. You can sign up for my free email series of videos that shows you how to set up and learn to hit great golf shots, as well as if you want to go in depth and learn all my drills that speed up the learning process, then on learninggolf.tv I have a very inexpensive subscription that will take you step by step through learning the swing in small little chunks, from grip to setup, finding your impact position, and then learning to deliver the club ideally through impact. And so you can go step by step that way. Visit one of my golf schools. The schedule is on the website. And please subscribe here on YouTube and like this video. Thank you very much and have a great day.